Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We got Leicester City career mode for you. It's the start of a new season. I believe this is season 5, is it? It should be season 5, unless my mind's deceiving me. The first thing we have to worry about really is rumours going on. Jeffrey Bruma is slightly unhappy and he has decided that he wants to leave the team at the start of this season in this summer transfer window. And I mean, I don't really understand why he would want to leave the champions. He played less games than usual last season. Van Gaal started coming in, players like that, but he was still a first team member for at least up until the rumours started that he was kind of unsettled and wanted to leave the club. So I don't know, but this episode, as we usually do, first episode of the season, it's going to be rumours, kind of what's going on in the transfer windows. There's not really many games going on, so pre-season matches don't really matter to me. You see, Leicester are in talks with Vorm. We obviously have Adam Gibbons, who played a lot of last season. We have Ben Hamer, but there are a few times where our teams are, well, our keepers at least, they kind of start messing up and doing stupid shit, especially Adam Gibbons, it seems, and we have to drop him, bring someone else in. So I thought, to bring in some competition, at least if we have to drop Adam Gibbons, we could bring in a top keeper. Vorm, in my opinion, at least in real life, his rating in FIFA isn't great, but in real life, he's one of the best keepers in the league. I have no idea why he decides to go to Tottenham and sit on the bench, because he is one of the best keepers in the league. And I like his stats in this. He's got everything I look for in a keeper, the reflexes, the positioning, stuff like that. But we'll see how that goes down. Ospina, another keeper we could look at. He's rejecting offers to leave Arsenal. Obviously, he's at a top club, but he could come to another top club. In Leicester, we are officially a top club now in my eyes. We're signing top players. Yeah, signing top players, winning leagues, competing for the Champions League. What more do you want? But Newcastle there, a good signing. Andre Silva from Porto, a nice young player. And we secure our first signing of the window, and it is Vorm. 5 million deal, 2-year. And we have one of the players who we signed from the free agency and gave like a kind of test run. We included him as part of the offer. I don't think he was worth too much, probably about $1 million. But we've signed Vorm, and like I said, competition for Gibbons, maybe even a starting position. We'll see how Gibbons reacts. If Gibbons slips up and does something dumb, which when you got keepers who have the acrobatic save style, that kind of seems to happen quite a lot, and I don't really like that too much, but he obviously has huge potential, and we'll see how he goes on with that. Maybe he's still the number one option, especially for the future, but we'll have to see what happens with the team. I have no favourites as you guys. Well, I do have favourites, obviously. Players like Jovetic are my favourites, but in terms of who's getting a first team spot, I have no favourites. If someone starts playing shit, you're going to get dropped onto the bench. If someone's playing well off the bench, you're going to get yourself a chance. So, big offer here. Big news. Jeffrey Bruma, he wasn't necessarily playing badly, but like you saw at the beginning of the episode, he did decide he wanted to leave. And it's kind of frustrating because we had to sell him to a rival club, obviously, and we didn't really get a say in it. The board took over. Don't want to say too much about what the board are doing, but they took over, they sold him for we probably could have got a lot more money for him. But, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to look for a new defender to replace him, because we do have players like Van Gaal for the club, obviously, who are breaking through. So, rumours continue to go on. We're still in the pre-season tournament, which I just can't be bothered to play anymore. After season 1, I see no point in playing them, really. It's a chance to get the young players game time, which they're doing anyway. You see players like Hall in there and Frelkeld playing well. Hall getting himself a goal. Yeah, so that's all well. There's no reason for me to actually sit there and physically play pre-season, because it feels like you're playing for nothing almost. It's all well and good that they added pre-season tournaments, which makes you feel like you're playing for a little bit more, but it still feels like you're playing for nothing really at the end of the day. I'd love to see them introduce some sort of fatigue or match fitness in the next one, where pre-season actually is important and you have to play pre-season for your players to reach match fitness and stuff like that, or some sort of way, just more depth into the preseason and a reason to get involved. But you see, again, winning our preseason game, players, Vassell getting on the score sheet, Randall, obviously you've seen all these names before, top players who are going to look like they're prospects, basically. They're going to be in the starting lineup within the next few seasons at least. But transfer window continued to go on. Christian Eriksen, who was obviously at PSG, and I have no idea, I don't really understand this move. Like 33 million, and you can kind of understand why PSG accepted that, but that's cheap for Eriksen in my opinion. But why would he move from PSG to Atletico Madrid? And he was starting at PSG as well. But that's none of my business at the end of the day. We have finally been knocked out of the Champions Trophy. That was in the final. CSKA Moscow beat us, and Arsenal have signed David Alaba for 40 million. David Alaba, obviously, he goes to Juventus at the start of every single possible career mode. That's just one of them scripted transfers. 40 million for his signature. That's a big signing for Arsenal though. And we've completed our second signing for only 13 million. Jose Callejon. It's a little bit of a weird signing. A little bit. I'm going to say a little bit because of the fact only he's 32 years old. We have Holtby for attacking midfield position. We have a array of wingers at the club. So we'll see where he fits in, but really, when you get to this point, at the point our club is in, I feel like now's the time to really start adding competition, depth to the squad, big name players all around the place. And Callejon, again, in real life at least, and in FIFA to be honest, one of the most underrated players in world football, I think. Especially from his time at Real Madrid, his time at Napoli. He's a top class player. This guy is brilliant in my opinion. I'm not saying he's one of the best in the world, but he is a top player. He probably could end up playing. He obviously did play for Real Madrid. I feel like he still could play for more or less any team in the world. Probably not the Barcelonas, but any team in the Premier League I feel like he could play for. Yeah, but anyway, we've signed him. And the final offer of the transfer, well, of this episode at least, is Romelu Lukaku going to Real Sociedad from Everton. That's another, some real weird signings going on right here. Like, really? I don't know. Everton obviously have signed Callum Wilson in this series in the January transfer window, and he was playing when I played them last time, so maybe Lukaku's not getting game time. But Lukaku obviously could have got to a better side than Real Sociedad. But that's none of my business. Again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. The next episode will be the start of the season, Community Shield and whatnot. Bye.